From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Nick Barris here. I hope you had a good weekend. It's MorningLine, and I'm so glad you're joining us. We've got a good show on tap for you this morning. We're going to open up the phone lines. We're going to talk Social Security with you. You know, that's our regular show that we have every month, and we'll take your phone calls. If you have questions about SSI, disability, you know, your check. Well, you don't get checks anymore, do you? It's all direct deposit. Any question you may have about your Social Security benefit, whether you're getting one now, whether you're thinking about what's going to be there for you when you need it, when you retire or when you should retire, or if you have a question maybe on behalf of a loved one. The phone number's up on the screen, 737-7587. You know this show gets busy as we roll along. We're going to go till 9 o'clock, so join us because this morning we've got you covered. We've got two guests with us this morning from the administration here in town, and they're right over here to my left. Oh yeah, Josh Horn, to know him is to love him. How are you, sir?
Good.
It's good to have you on. And you brought, what did you have to? I mean, was it hard to coerce Wyatt to join you this morning?
I told him I needed a real expert to come on with me. Wyatt's the one that does the work every day, so.
Yeah, explain that, because that's what I said. Again, you know, you're like, I said caseworker, that's not it as much, but you are someone who handles the phone calls that come in, right?
Yes, sir. I handle the phone calls when they come in. I handle the public when they come into our great lobby. And I'm just there to serve the public and do a great job.
And those phones are constantly ringing.
Oh, it never stops.
That's the thing. I mean, some people don't realize just how busy you are. And you get the sense from when we do the show. We're usually, almost always, unless it's just an unusual slow day, weather or whatever, we get calls all the time. And that's why I think this is a great show. You can get through and talk to these guys. All day long, nonstop calls, or are you also taking people that walk in the front door?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I have the great job to actually get to interact with the public every day.
Yeah.
And I love it, and it's a great thing. We have a great public here in Nashville.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you can help them, and that's what it's about. They have questions, and it can be a complicated process. Well, the numbers are open, and I always like to hit you first, Josh, when we start off. Is there anything new, specific that you just want to touch on? I know not a lot changes. Last time you were on, we talked about, indeed, there will not be a cost of living increase, correct?
Right, and kind of going along with that, I wanted Mr. White here to talk a little bit about what happens when there's no cost of living, but we don't know exactly yet. But we know there's probably going to be an increase with the Medicare premium, so we've got some provisions for that I was going to have Wyatt talk about for a second.
Do that, yeah. As in the past, twice before there was no cost of living increase a few years back. Kind of surprised me when I heard there wouldn't be this year, which will be a disappointment to a lot of people who kind of take that into account and expect it. That's not happening. But yes, meanwhile, other things get more expensive, right?
Well, the good thing about it, if you have Social Security cash benefits and you're being paid cash benefits, and we're holding Medicare Part B, your net will not drop. Your benefit will not go down due to Medicare Part B going up.
That's the thing.
That's a great
typically
thing.
It would, but because there's no cost of living increase, they're freezing that?
Yeah, if you're drawing cash benefits,
Right.
and we're already holding Medicare Part B out of your check.
But if that goes up, the price, it's not going to alter
It's not
you guys in that case.
Yeah, your net still would stay the same. You still would bring in what you've been bringing in 2015.
Okay.
That's a great thing.
At least you know you're not going backwards.
Exactly. Now, if you start Medicare Part B as of January 1st, 2016, you will pay a higher premium.
Okay.
Because you didn't have it before.
Okay.
So you would pay the new cost that's going to come out. Unfortunately, it hasn't come out yet. We don't know that cost. But when it does, we'll let you know.
Typically, it does go up, right? Usually.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And they usually call that hold harmless, which basically means that we don't want your benefits to go down just because the Medicare premiums went up. Now this is just for the Part B, because you were telling me that this is not applicable to folks who are under the
increase.
The IRMA, the income-related Medicare. Some people who have higher incomes pay a little bit more for Medicare than the baseline amount, and those people
will be affected.
Yeah, they will be affected even if it goes up, and so there's some provisions there. But as far as if you're paying, what is it, $104?
$104.90 a month.
Whatever if it goes up, that doesn't mean that your benefits are going to go down. It will be adjusted to make sure that your benefits don't go down.
And they do that specifically because there is no cost of living increase? Is that just because of this year. Now, next year, if there's a cost of living increase, then we go back to the way it was, and you might see an increase, right?
And really, it's been around for a long time, because if let's say there was only a 1% cost of living increase, but the Medicare premiums jumped up quite a bit for whatever reason, there would still be that provision there that if you're drawing $800 a month, that and it goes up by more than what the cost of living is, instead of paying you $795 or $790, it's just going to be adjusted, so you still get that $800 a month.
So you won't be going back. The difference then this year is that you can expect to get at least what you got last year, but you're not going to get a cost of living increase this year, which means you won't be getting a little bit more. Now, that typically, when there's a cost of living increase, and the average recipient, what is it a month, really? I mean, typically, what's the rent? How much more are they getting a month?
For 20, the cost of living?
Yeah, $20 a month, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the average amount is about $1,200. The average payment. So you look at 1% of that's going to be what, $12 or something like that. So 2% is going to be $24.
It's not a lot that you're missing out on, but I know a lot of you, a little bit, you can make go a long way, and you'll miss it. So we wanted to lay that out so we don't get any calls on are we getting that this year. All right, the number is 737-7587. I got more questions for you guys, but we got callers, and this is for them. So we'll squeeze a few in before we take our first break. But the line's open. If you want to jump in, let's go to Virginia. Hi, Virginia.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. What can we do for you?
I just, by listening, I answered a lot of questions that I was going to ask.
Sure.
By listening to you guys, but now that I found out, what I needed to know, I just wanted to make a comment.
Yeah.
I've worked somewhere since 1969 as a nurse. So I feel like by receiving these benefits now that I finally retired, that I rightfully deserve them because, I paid into it all these years. And I'm disappointed in the government and how they handle a lot of this money stuff that goes on, that they continue to want to pick on people, I feel like picking on people that receive Social Security, because groceries and stuff is high. We've gotten a little slack on the gas prices here lately, but we don't know what the situation overseas when that's going to change. So stuff is high. Electricity is higher and everything. I just feel like they should look at other things that they're spending money on that maybe they shouldn't be spending money on, and giving us folks that's with disability, people that still get Social Security, and people like myself that worked all those years. And like I said, I was a nurse, so I've worked a many a weekend. I worked a many a holiday to where other people were doing whatever they wanted to do because that's the profession I chose to be in.
Sure.
And that's about it.
Thank you for your call. Listen, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like a nurse where you're on sometimes 24/7, the business I'm in is like that, We're here at Christmas. We're here at Thanksgiving. The news never stops. And, of course, you work, and that money you put into Social Security is yours. Yes, sir. What she's referring to is the big picture. It's policy stuff you guys can't really talk about. But you did say last time we came on, not that they're delving in and taking money away yet, but at some point, with the baby boomers aging, more people are taking money out of the system than putting in, right? Or to some degree. What's the timetable if Congress doesn't look at this, whereby they'll have to make some adjustments on how much people can draw?
Yeah, basically, it kind of changes back and forth. I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly the next year. I know they're talking about the 2035 mark being when 2035. Yeah, when we'll drop down from 3 workers supporting every person that's drawing, and it's supposed to drop down to 2 workers supporting every one person. So we're looking at the workforce ratio dropping by a third within the next a few years. So that's kind of what at least that's the root problem of why we're looking at it. And I know a common question that we're getting is is it going to go away? Is it just am I going to get anything when I draw? And right now, if nothing is done, and that ratio changes and the trust fund runs out, we'll be looking at you'll be getting basically 70% of your benefits, or 70 cents on the dollar, however you want to phrase it. So it's not going to go away completely, but there will be a significant decrease.
You could lose like 30% of what you expect. And again, Social Security, it's not a ton of money. Now, what are the options? Which, of course, you have no idea what Congress might do, but I mean, it can be anything from placing limits maybe on the super rich, maybe say, well, you don't get the benefit if you make more than this amount, to raising taxes, to, I don't know, when I say raising taxes, increasing the amount withheld. I don't know what other options there are that they'll be able to look at.
They could try to raise the age limit also.
Yeah, that's right. That's another option too. They could raise and the truth be told, I think, people in general are living a little bit longer, so you have to take that, and they're working longer, so maybe you take that into account. I suspect something will be done at some point, because whoever happens to be in office, when all of a sudden all of us, like Virginia and I, find out we're getting 30% less of the money we put in, well, we're going to be mad.
Oh, yes.
And we pay to re-elect these people, and if you're the one holding the bag, when you decide to nail us on that, we're going to come after you. You're gone. So they're going to have to address at some point, but that's interesting. 2035 is what seems like a long way away, but we'll be here before you know it. Ugh. Listen, on that note, we'll take a break. When we come back, Ronnie, James, Judy, Evelyn, and others, if you're on hold, stay there. We've got a few lines open talking Social Security with Josh and Wyatt. We'll get your calls right after this. Stay with us.